Hey, this is Corey with Shure. In this video tutorial, I'll discuss how to capture scan data using networked Shure wireless devices. Wireless Workbench can be networked with several different wireless microphone receiver models and other scan-capable devices like the AXT600 Spectrum Manager. One of the really cool features that this enables is the ability to use those wireless devices as scanners and then visualize that scan data in the app. So I've got a variety of devices online here, a few mic receivers and a spectrum manager, and I'll use these devices to capture the scan data. And even though I'm demonstrating this in the frequency coordination tab, where there's a built-in spectrum plot that ties into the frequency coordination workflow, the same mechanics are going to work for the frequency plot tool, which is a bit more of a purpose-built utility that does not involve coordination. So on this upper left sidebar in the coordination tab, you'll see a couple tables and a few controls. The scan sources table lists all of the online devices that are capable of taking a live scan. First, it shows the device ID, which can be super helpful if you're in the habit of giving a unique name to your physical devices. It also shows the frequency band that the device operates in and the corresponding tuning bandwidth. If it's a channel-based device like a multi-channel receiver, you'll also see radio buttons allowing you to select the channel of the device that will be used for scanning. This is something you want to pay attention to because when you start a scan, you'll overtake that channel to perform the scan, and it will be unavailable for receiving transmission from a wireless mic. So you don't want to scan with a channel that you're actively using. When you select one or more devices, the graph beneath the table displays the frequency range that will be captured by the selected device or devices. Beneath the graph are two controls. One allows you to choose how many sweeps are taken with the device, either a single sweep from the starting frequency to the ending frequency, or the device can scan continuously in that range until manually stopped. The other control indicates how many scan sources are selected and, more importantly, allows you to initiate the scan. Before you start a scan, you'll want to turn off all of your transmitters or enable RF mute so that they aren't detected in your scan data. Once you start a scan, the device tunes to each frequency in its range and reports back the signal level. Each device will also indicate on the front panel of the hardware that a scan is in progress. If you need to, you can stop the scan by locating it in the scan sources table and pressing its stop button, or you can stop all scans by pressing the Stop All button above the scan data table. The scan data table itself lists all of the scans that are in progress or have been completed, as well as the time it was completed if it was today, or the date if it was further in the past. Any scan file that's initiated from Wireless Workbench will also be saved within the show file. So when you reopen it, the data is still available, but you can't transfer it anywhere, like sharing it with someone on your team. To save the scan data as a separate shareable file, click on it and choose Save. When you do this, the file name will update in the table. You can also change the color of a scan by clicking the color swatch next to the checkbox. This just makes it easier to distinguish one scan from another. Any scan that's selected in the list will not only be visualized on the plot, but will also impact the coordination by contributing to the list of detected frequency exclusions, which you can see on the plot and view in the additional exclusions dialog. If you don't want to include the scan data and its generated exclusions as part of your coordination, simply uncheck it in the scan data list. The peak hold option combines all of the selected scans and creates another scan curve on the plot. This can be helpful if you take scans at different times or with different equipment and want to see a worst-case scenario of the spectrum. To save this summed scan as a separate file, right-click on Peak Hold and select Save. Give it a name, and then you can import this as a separate file. If you're viewing multiple files, this might be a good option to help you clean up your plot views so you're not looking at multiple curves. Lastly, you may want to change the scan settings of your equipment. For example, if you only want to scan a subset of your spectrum. The gear button above the Scan Sources table opens up the Scan Settings window where you can double-click on parameters to configure the scanning devices. Start and stop affect the range of the scan. Resolution bandwidth is the width of the final filter of the scanner. Basically, the tighter the resolution bandwidth is, the more accurately it can measure specific frequencies that are adjacent to one another, as well as the signal level at those frequencies. And step size affects the spacing between each sample taken. So, this just shows how you can connect to network Shure wireless devices and use them beyond their general purpose as a wireless receiver and use them as tools for visualizing your spectrum. I hope this tutorial was helpful. If so, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, please add them to the comments below. Thanks.